Welcome back, my name is Teresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth where sometimes, just sometimes, I tend to use the word fuck as a comma. It's awesome. I really highly recommend you doing it. I think your life will be better because of it. If you're not into that or weird stuff in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to X out the video here. No harm, no foul. But I'll remember our time fondly. Why hello my little crusty crustaceans. In today's video we have a lot of luxury makeup to talk about. We have the new, is this Xenon, whatever. We have this palette. We have some new highlighters as well as a bronzer from Dior. Pretty exciting stuff. Let's see if I wasted any money. We're gonna start with the Natasha Denona palette. For $25, you get this compact little palette that contains 5 shades. There are 4 mattes and 1 metallic shade in the palette. And since there are 5 shades, let's break it down by shade. Starting with the matte black shade, which is called the Blackest Black. Blackest Black. This shade requires to be built up to have a solid opacity. Upon initial application, it kind of comes off a little bit like a dark charcoal, but once built up, it's incredibly opaque. Once on, I didn't experience any patchiness or difficulty blending the shade into the other shades in this palette. As a result, it has excellent longevity and surprisingly little to no fallout, which is, again, shocking my fucking core because usually black matte shades are notorious for fallout. This one, not so bad. And again, this shade really blended nicely with the other shades in the palette. Now the shade next to that is Gloom. And Gloom is considered a dark gray matte. Much like the black shade, this is another shade that does require to be built up. But once built up, it's fine, and it works really well with the other shades in the palette. There is a fair amount of kick up and fallout with this shade though, but overall easy to clean. The next shade is Chromatic. And listen, this is the only reason why I purchased this palette. I'm on the quest for silver. And I basically am looking for a silver that resembles the Tin Man's dick. I don't want it to be glittery. I just want slutty metallic goodness. And this, it isn't bad, but it ain't no Tin Man dick. The best silver, in my humble opinion, is the silver in that stupid fucking Moschino Sephora Bare palette. That silver is an opaque silver that doesn't have any rogue glitter bukkake. It's beautiful. So this silver, upon initial application, which is very, very, very pigmented by the way, there is some dusting of bukkake that I fucking hate. Glitter particles definitely fly all over my face, looking like Tinkerbell shit all over it, so not a fan. It has such awesome opacity, it's just a bitch to clean up. And there's actually a pretty decent amount of fallout with this shade. It's not chunky by any means, it's just the glitter fallout. It's just, ugh, fucking intense. That said, I did apply it with glitter glue. I mean, for the most part, the shade definitely stayed in place. It's just the micro glitters decided to have sex with my face. So overall, this wasn't a bad shade, but I'm basically not calling this back for a second date, if you know what I mean. The next shade after that is Mist, which is a light gray matte shade. This shade is actually pretty unique. There's a slight blue hue to it, so it kind of makes it like just deliciously cool on the skin. But this shade was incredibly powdery. There is a fair amount of kick up and a fair amount of fallout with this shade. And when applied, it's pretty light, so it does require to be built up to have a much more substantial opacity, but you can do so with it. But overall, pretty nice shade. The last shade in this palette is Puff, and this is described as an off matte white shade. This is another super fucking powdery shade. However, it blends really nicely with the rest of the mattes in this palette, and it does make for a beautiful inner corner highlight, like a nice matte inner corner highlight that I fucking love. Overall, you know, this palette was fine. Was it worth $25? I'm not mad that I purchased it, but if I didn't buy this palette, I don't think I would have really missed out on anything. Not when there are other Natasha Denona palettes within this price range that are like fucking outstanding. While I'm happy that I can make very pretty looks with this palette, there is definitely some hand-holding that is required with this palette. The shadows require extra blending between the shades just to make like a really nice gradient and not to look patchy. Long story short, I really had to jerk off this palette a little bit, and my wrist wrist is fucking tired. Which is surprising because I never really experienced that with this brand. The longevity of these shades are good, which is a huge plus, but they're incredibly powdery. Again, very surprising because I don't feel like I experienced that a lot with this brand or ever. It's funny because even swatching these shades, they barely had any payoff, which again is really fucking unusual. Not that it matters because swatches don't tell the full story of how this will perform on the eyes, but if you're merely just swatching it, it swatched like shit. Kind of very similar to Viseart in that way. Viseart, very rarely will you actually get like really good swatches from them. Most of the times it just looks like hot shit. But they perform beautifully. But this is not in the same caliber as Viseart, in my opinion. Viseart's a lot better than this thing. So yeah, it's weird. I feel like the quality is just like a little bit different with this palette. The other thing I want to note is that there really isn't much of a variety with this palette. Sure, you could probably make like maybe 2 good looks, but then after that, it's like everything just looks exactly the same. So, I mean, it's all right. It operated fine. Again, just a little bit extra time blending just to make sure everything looks good. But at the end of the day, do you really need something like this? Probably not. For $25, you're getting 5 shades when you can easily just get a fucking ColourPop palette that is $11 less and has 4 more shades. If you want an excellent cheap Natasha Denona palette, I totally recommend the Mini Nude. That one's fucking fabulous. You will never regret that palette. This one, you don't fucking need it. Your life will be fine without it. Go get the ColourPop one. Seriously, just go get the ColourPop one. Now the next product I want to talk about is the Work and Set Gel Eyeliner. This little guy retails for $24 and you get 0.17 ounces of product. Now this guy comes in 3 different shades. Now within this collection, Natasha Denona also released pencil eyeliners. Honestly, I just didn't really want to fuck with it, so I decided let me try the gel pot eyeliner. This is the first time I'm actually trying an eyeliner from this brand, and I figured, why not try this one? And the reason why I chose the black shade is because I don't have any black gel eyeliner currently, especially not in the pot form. I have to say the packaging is pretty nice on this guy. I don't remember if this came with a protective cover, and if it did, I lost it. Or maybe it was never there to begin with. I don't remember. In any case, that's kind of a problem. Because this shit's gonna dry out now. Motherfucker. Alright, anyway. That said, I applied this eyeliner in 2 different ways. I use it above the lash line, and I've used it in the waterline. Above the lash line, this is fucking opaque. Like, really opaque. Incredibly creamy, easy to apply. And I got right up into the corner of my eye, and I didn't experience any sort of irritation, which is a fucking plus. This formula dried incredibly fast as well. What is nice about this formula is I didn't feel the need to have to layer it because it was incredibly opaque in one swipe. However, out of curiosity, I did go over the formula a couple of times just to make sure that I didn't experience any sort of cracking or anything. Good news is that it's so opaque. You really don't need to build up this formula at all. And if you wanted to go over it a couple of times, it doesn't crack or get weird and crumbly. Now, once on, I didn't experience any sort of transfer issues. This shit did not budge. It stayed in place until I was ready to take it off. Has incredible fucking longevity. This is amazing above the lash line. I cannot believe how fucking opaque this is. I love the Lethal Cosmetics black eyeliner, along with the Ritual Defeat eyeliner, as well as Inglot. This is probably like the purest black that I've ever used in a gel eyeliner in a pot. This is fabulous. Now with that said, when I used it for the waterline, bitch, where the fuck did it go? I think it lasted all of 20 minutes. And then it just was like, whew, and it disappeared into the ether. It was wild because after 2 hours, I barely had any remnants left. It's so unfortunate because when applied in the waterline, it was super comfortable. Didn't experience any irritations and it looked really fucking good. It just has really bad fucking longevity. Now keep in mind, I have incredibly sensitive watery eyes. So while this might not work for me, this could work for you. I usually have a lot of people giving me recommendations for eyeliners, and I want to say 9 out of 10 times they never work for me because my eyes are that sensitive and that watery, and usually nothing stays in my waterline except for like a handful of things. And I was hoping that this would be one of them. It's not. But this makes for a beautiful above the lash liner, and I'm okay with that. So again, while this may not work for me in that area, this could work for you. That's the fun thing about eyeliner. It really depends on how sensitive your eyes are. And I don't know about you, but as soon as I turn 35, all I do is just cry at the drop of a hat. Everything makes me cry. It also doesn't help that there are moments in my day where I start to think about the goddamn scene in Toy Story 3 when the toys are merely holding hands as they're approaching the fire. Exactly. Oh, I wish I could say that I was faking that, but I'm not. Hold please.
2,000 years later.
Anyway, if you have particularly sensitive eyes, I don't recommend this for the waterline, but the above the lash line, fucking gold. If you're looking for something that lasts in the waterline, I recommend Lethal Cosmetics, Ritual Defee, and Inglots. And even Melt Cosmetics, the gel pot, not the fucking sticks. Sorry. Anyway, but just not this one. Now, the next set of products I want to talk about are from Dior. I have 2 products from Dior. So let's talk about the bronzer first. The Dior Forever Natural Bronze retails for $48. You get 0.31 ounces of product and it comes in 8 different shades. I chose the shade Light 2, Light Bronze. I could have also went with the shade 01, but I wanted to appear like a plump fryer that you would find at your local grocery store. First of all, the packaging, bitch, okay? Can we just appreciate for a moment this beautiful packaging? I feel like a rich bitch holding this. I feel like I'm summering in Saint-Tropez and shaking my drink at someone to refresh it, fully knowing that they're gonna spit in it. But joke's on them. That's my kink. Just kidding, that is not my kink. Not to say that if that is your kink, no kink shaming here. Just not for me. Just not for me, fam. No. Whatever you do in your own home is what you do, okay? Let's move on. The packaging is stunning. I think this is either like, I don't know what the fuck this is. If this is like a patent leather or a pleather, which is the same thing, whatever. It could be vinyl, I don't know, but it has like this puffy vagina exterior and it's fucking cool and it just feels so lovely in your hand. I really love the whole aesthetic of it. It's not too overly obnoxious. Sometimes higher end brands, when they release makeup, can just look fucking fugly. This is just really, I don't know, it's just nice. It's simple. It's simple, it's timeless, it's beautiful. This is gonna look beautiful in your fucking makeup collection, and that's what I like about this. But at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, is the formula good? I've used this product a little bit now, and I purchased this the same time that I purchased the highlighters. The bronzer has a matte finish with a warm undertone. The powder itself is incredibly smooth and it applies beautifully onto the skin. I didn't experience any patchiness or any muddiness. It definitely sculpts out my little fat face. When applied, I feel like this is probably fairly light, which I'm totally okay with because I rather build up my bronzer than to have it be like fuck my face up with pigment and then try to figure out how to diffuse it by adding more powder or ultimately just dragging my face down to death. I don't like that. So I like that this was definitely lighter in pigmentation and that I can build it up. So if I really wanted to look like a bronze motherfucking goddess, I can. But if I wanted to just look a little sun-kissed, I could do that too. While I'm not someone who particularly loves a warm tone bronzer, I'm not mad at it. This bronzer doesn't come off orangey. Instead, it just gives a beautiful warmth to the skin. While this is a matte formula, it doesn't emphasize any texture and it doesn't make my skin appear flat. I would probably say that this is more in line with a natural finish. It's really pretty. I think my biggest complaint though is the tone of it. At the end of the day, I am just a bag of teeth and hair. And I'm just looking for a cool tone option. And bronzers, for whatever reason, companies really don't like making cool tone options. It's either neutral or warm. So us see-through fish having a real hard time trying to find something that just, you know, makes our translucent blue skin come alive. Shit, I'll take even a neutral option at this point, but unfortunately this is just not it. And I feel like with any of these shades, there's not really a good neutral option. Everything is definitely warm leaning. So I might be in the minority here because that's what I like. But regardless, the longevity was great. The product was incredibly easy to use. And while again, I'm not in love with the fact that it's so warm, it's not turning me into a fucking Oompa Loompa. So I think for me, if they came out with more undertones, I would fucking, this would be amazing. So unfortunately, in terms of luxury bronzers, this doesn't beat my baby Tom Ford. All hail King Tom Ford. That's still a better bronzer formula in my opinion, but yeah, this was good. This was really good. It's just, I just wish the undertones were just more in my favor, but it is what it is. Now the final product I want to talk about is the Dior Forever Couture Luminizer. Much like the bronzer, these retail for $48. You get 0.21 ounces and they come in 6 different shades. Again, much like the bronzer, comes in beautiful packaging that makes me feel like a monster. An expensive monster at that. And I got the first 3 shades in this collection and they are fan-motherfucking-tastic. The first shade is Nude Glow 01. This is a warm gold highlighter. The texture of the highlighter is so incredibly smooth and incredibly easy to apply. It melts beautifully into the skin and it doesn't emphasize any texture. I also like that this highlighter doesn't have any micro glitter in it. so it doesn't look like Tinkerbell took a shit all over my face. This highlighter can be a bit demure if needed, but ultimately you can build it up and turn yourself into an alien slut goddess. We love her. And even though in my uncooked chicken skin, I found that this shade actually worked really, really nicely on me. I didn't feel like it was too dark. It definitely toes the line, but I can get away with it. The next shade is 02 Pink Glow. This is fucking good. This is a warm light pink highlighter. Absolutely motherfucking beautiful. And much like the new glow, it applies so beautifully into the skin and it just looks so stunning. Another one where you can build up the intensity, which is absolutely great. So if you're someone that wants a subtle glow, you can achieve that, or if you're like me and you just want to be seen from fucking outer space, you can do that too. I think out of all 3 shades I purchased, surprisingly, this is my fucking favorite one. It's so flattering. It's fucking perfection. I love this one. I'm obsessed. I'm thinking about even buying a backup because that's how my brain is working right now. Like, that's how much I love this one. The last shade is 03 Pearlescent Glow. This is why I pulled the trigger on this purchase, because I'm a slut for a white highlighter at the end of the day. Nothing beats the Burberry highlighter. I don't care what you say, nothing will beat that one. That is my favorite high-end highlighter of all motherfucking time. So I was curious to see if this would. This shade actually threw me for a loop. When I first swatched it, I wasn't impressed. However, when I applied it to the skin, bitch, I was clutching my pearls. I was blown away. And the reason why I was blown away is because there's actually blue micro glitter in it, and I don't know, like, it threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting that. This shit is very, very blinding. Like, this bitch is blinding, but she's so fucking messy. The glitter bukkake can be an issue, and it can literally just travel all over your face. The other highlighters that I purchased do not have this type of formula, so I was really like just kind of surprised that this one is a little bit different. But what I can say is that while this does have a fair amount of glitter, it doesn't emphasize any texture. It melts beautifully into the skin, and it, for whatever reason, oddly looks natural, but there is a blue glitter reflect to it. The other difference between these highlighters is that this one in particular started off incredibly intense. Unlike the other 2 highlighters that were a little bit more subtle upon application, this one was like, bam, bukkake. And I was like, damn, okay, was not prepared for that, but here we are. I'm really pleasantly surprised how alien slut this formula is, considering that it is like a high-end, like a bougie brand. But in a way, it's actually kind of funny because it's actually not my favorite. I think if the formula didn't have micro glitter in it, I would like it so much more. But because it has micro glitter in it, it's not something that I'm really gonna reach for. But in today's look, I actually did use it because I was using the Natasha Denona palette, that some of these grays do have a blue hue to it. So I definitely feel like this look does work together, but yeah, she's just a little glittery. I have to say, overall, I'm actually pretty happy with my purchases, and I don't feel like I wasted my money too much. In hindsight, I probably would have skipped out on the Pearlescent Glow, only because I really just don't like the glitter aspect of it. But other than that, the formula of the other 2, they're fucking great. You know what? I know I said that about the Pearlescent Glow, but even as I look at it now, it's like, no, I stand corrected. I see some blue glitter like right up in here. All right. You have to like glitter to like it. Like, I think it's more of a preference thing. So if you're someone that really embraces the bukkake, fucking go nuts, bitch. I don't care. Rest assured that it doesn't emphasize texture, but still, there's a time and a place for glitter, and it's not on a Zoom meeting, okay? Other than that, these are fucking great. The packaging is beautiful, the formula is fantastic, and I actually have been reaching a lot over the past few weeks between the highlighters and the bronzer, so I actually don't feel like I wasted my money too much. But I would recommend probably the highlighters over the bronzer, especially if you are someone that's looking for more of like a neutral cool tone option, then just fucking go nuts with the highlighters. But if you are someone that likes a warm tone bronzer, yeah, I say pick up both. Listen, the world's gonna end. You might as well make yourself happy, all right? And as the world crumbles around us, at least you'll be clutching on to this beautiful highlighter packaging. That's it. I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you picked up any of these things. If you like them, if you hate them, if you don't care, you want to see something else. Let me know because I love hearing from you. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate, I don't know what this was, but I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, to all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies. Thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really trashy actually really filthy, really glowy. Garbage float, I couldn't do without you, and I love your adorable little delicious faces, and I just want to gobble you all up and just keep you whole in my belly, and we could be one, and it'll be a great time. If you want to know what is currently on my face, along with where to get my merch, my podcast, my palette, which should be coming back into stock soon. If you want to know everything, or if you care to know everything or anything or whatever, everything will be listed in the description box below. And I'll see you little Boston baked beans later. Bye.